Luis. Hi, William. Thank you so much for giving me a call.
You bet. So I just wanted to know, you're talking about the store opening in El Paso, and I wanted to know where that store is located.
It's located at 300 Mills in downtown.
Your Mills in downtown
Yes, sir.
El Paso.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me just see if I can find it. Can you bear with me while I take a search?
Sure, I'm doing a search too, just to make sure I give you the right address. But go ahead.
Okay. No, let me just, you go ahead. I'll look myself here and verify. Is that El Paso or Waco?
Yeah, El Paso, Texas. So it's 123 West Mills Avenue is the address for it.
Got it. All right. Thank you. That helps me too. And this is at Mills Plaza.
Yes, sir. This is at Mills Plaza.
Okay, I show that it is. Oh, it's a store that's owned. It's a what we call a licensed store.
Uh-huh.
So, is this like inside another store, like a
It
Target or a?
so it's inside of a building that it's a historic building that was recently renovated with public and private funds. And yeah,
Okay.
they have this Starbucks there. That's I guess it's kind of like a treat for their employees because it's not even open on Saturdays or Sundays, which will even drive home more the point of what I'm about to tell you.
Notes here. Located as a historic building renovated with private and public funds.
Yes, sir. Yes. So, I'll let me try to explain this from the beginning. So, back in 2005, the city of El Paso funded a study called the Glass Beach Study. The Glass Beach Study was a study that found, their words, not mine, we had to replace dusty old Mexicans with affluent whites. And this became the foundation for many downtown redevelopment and other quality of life programs. One of these would be the Mills building that the city of El Paso, they paid a lot of money to help renovate that particular building where now the Starbucks sits. How interesting and how ironic. But so this Glass Beach study, what happened with it was that it was supposed to involve local El Pasoans, just everyday El Pasoans, to get their opinions on where the city should go. What ended up happening in a breach of contract, and ironically enough, one of the tenants in that building, an advertisement agency called Sanders and Wingo, um, they conducted the study rather than using everyday El Pasoans. They got a lot of people with financial interest in downtown redevelopment involved in that. In fact, it was 37 out of 40 key executives, many of them who had this financial interest, who gave the responses that ended up being compiled as this document now known as the Glass Beach Study. I also sent your department an email with some links, and if you'd like, I can actually really quickly while we talk, I can send you a link to a petition that I've started. Now, I'll tell you, okay, so it happened back in 2005. City of El Paso paid for it, so it's something that the whole city now is guilty of this racism. It was as I said, it was undertaken under false means, and still today there are some quality of life projects, such as a Mexican American cultural center. Yeah, it's called Harbor Inn. Such as a Mexican American cultural center, which is in and of itself mired in controversy. Um, it's like it was basically like a bait and switch. Everything that has happened in the last, I'll tell you like this, William. In the last in the last 15 years, El Paso has accumulated $3 billion worth of debt that we didn't have anymore. That can be directly tied back to this racist class speech study. And I'm going to send you the document so that you can read through yourself. You don't. I don't want you to take my word for these things that I'm saying, but I do hope that Starbucks feels in they. I'm trying to identify key stakeholders who have made it apparent that they want to be involved in the fight against systemic racism and white supremacy. So I'm going to take you, Starbucks, at your word and really believe that you really do want to root it out because it's an evil. So, yes, so this glass speech study has been the foundation, intellectual foundation for this. And what's actually happening is that many old people in El Paso are no longer able to keep up, people on fixed incomes, no longer able to keep up with the rising property taxes and home valuations. And so this study is actually being lived out in the real world. I imagine in about 5 to 7 years, it's going to get worse. And there are precedents. This is what happened in cities like Los Angeles, there's a word for it. It's called gentrification.
Yeah.
So,
Understood.
and yeah, so go ahead.
What I don't want to jump into it, but I would like you to send the email. So what I need to do is kind of take what we've discussed,
Yes.
or what you've shared with me, to the media team. We want to engage the appropriate teams in Starbucks so they're aware of what's going on, and basically because the store is licensed, we also want to make sure that the owners of the building or the store itself are aware of this sensitivity, and we, ultimately, we want to be somebody who facilitates a gathering place for all residents in the community.
Yes.
So, we take something like this very seriously. Again, we don't own the store technically in the building, but I want to make sure that we create as much awareness within our company as possible because, your concerns are ones that are very, we would take very seriously, and we do want to make sure we're very sensitive to them.
Excellent.
So
And William,
yes.
and I actually do.
Email address.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Let me take down the email address, and also let me just say this: I do have a solution, a good resolution in mind, and I think Starbucks helping me championing this resolution would go so far, and it would be something that we could all feel really good about. This is what I would like to see happen. I'd love to see the city of El Paso, the same city council that approved this study, I'd like them to go back and denounce the racism in the study. I'd like the advertisement agency that sits in this building where the Starbucks is, I'd like them to return the money and apologize for publishing that. And the reason why I think they should return the money is because they broke contract with that. Lastly, I think it would be great to know the names of the 37 executives so that we can then find out the extent of the financial interest that they had in order so that they cannot continue to benefit from this. Hopefully what will end up happening in the course of all of this is real restitution will be made. And like I said, we'll have a real victory here together, helping end the most blatant form of systemic racism and white supremacy that exists in post-civil rights America. So let me take down your...
I will Yeah, go ahead and email that to customercare@starbucks.com, and you could, on the subject line, just write attention bill, and then the subject of it, and I'll go ahead and pass this along. Again, I'm not involved with the policy and community management portion of this, but I want to make sure those appropriate teams are aware and pass these concerns along to them.
Okay, so it was customercare@starbucks.com. On the subject line, it's gonna say Bill.
Attention bill. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, attention Bill. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Attention Bill, and then it's gonna say help end systemic racism and white supremacy is going to be the other part of that. And then I'll go ahead and send that over to you within maybe, I don't know, next hour or two, if that's fine.
Sure. Yeah. Can you do it right now?
I'm sorry?
Could you send it right now, or is it not handy?
In about 10 minutes. I'll have it to you in 10 minutes.
Perfect.
Hey, thank you, Bill. Take care.
All right, have a good weekend.
You too.
Bye now.
Bye bye.